Hey, Richard Beach here from SonicState.com. I'm with Paul Gilbert at NAMM 2014. Brilliant to meet you. The first time I've ever met you.
Nice
so
to meet you as well.
A personal honour for me. But you've been here promoting ArtistWorks, which is online lessons with a bit of a twist. So first of all, can you fill us in on the details of that?
Well, I've been doing the school, my guitar school, for about nearly 2 years, and I've done well over 1,500 video lessons for the school. And you know, if you haven't been inside, what happens when you subscribe is there's a lot of things. Where to begin? The first thing that you have access to is a full rock guitar course that I created on video, and it's the most extensive. It's so far beyond anything I've done before. It starts from very beginner level, from your first E chord and tuning, to the scariest, most technical stuff that I know.
Okay.
And I prepared for months for this. I really felt it was, this is like, I got to get my life's work down, and in case I'm gone, this will be the message I send to the Martians. So that's one part which I think is valuable. I put all my knowledge in there. But then the next part, which actually has turned out to be even more valuable, I think, is that I can interact directly with the students.
Yeah.
And the way that works is, you're a student, you've signed in, you've watched, some lessons, or you just want to talk directly to me about anything. So you make a video, you can do it with your iPhone or the computer, or what do you call it? The webcam, exactly. And just, play, talk, do whatever you want, ask me the question. And I watch it and I make a response video. These are paired together on the site,
right?
Super easy to find, and it's available for everybody. So, although I'm teaching directly to that one student, everybody else can learn from it.
So other people can see what you're telling other people.
So that's the thing I've done over 1,500 of.
Right.
Is direct replies to the students at the school, and the other cool thing about it is just the way that ArtistWorks has arranged things to make it. If there's 1,500 videos, where do you begin? That can be a little overwhelming. So one of the things that actually works really well is to start interacting with the other students. Find people that are into the same kind of thing you're into.
Okay.
If you're really into alternate picking, it's pretty easy to, well, of course there's a search button too. You can search picking, all the picking videos come up. But if you find another student who's into picking, you'll look at his favorite videos.
Okay.
Because, a lot of people, when you see one you like, you put it in your favorites. And, it's kind of a greatest hits of what's there. Yeah. If you're into, learning a vibrato, or bending strings, you can look people into that, and so it's a way to connect with other musicians around the world, or, locally. I mean, if you're in Argentina and you want to find some other musicians in Argentina, I've got a bunch of students from there or anywhere, and but it's just musically, I really feel like it's actually. It's going to become, if it hasn't already, a powerful force in guitar. The people there are really improving, and you can see it objectively because you see the first video somebody sent in, and you see what they sent in 6 months later. Yeah. And it's stunning. Cool. And I'm hopefully seeing the same thing with myself, because I'm learning a ton from it as well.
So, obviously your playing style is something that I think it's fair to describe as advanced, and somebody that many guitarists look up to, want to learn how to play like you. Is that what your course is, or is this more of a how to be a rock guitarist generally? What are you teaching? Are you passing on your skills?
Well, I'm teaching everything. It's really driven by the students,
right,
and what they're interested in. But at the same time, I am the teacher. Yeah. I'm the authority. And if I see someone, and this happens, I mean, the cliche is, the person will come in and they're attempting something that's really advanced. Yeah. They're struggling with it. They're saying like, I've been working with a metronome and I can play this at 70% of the tempo that I want, and I just can't seem to get past that. And fortunately, I know the solution. And it might take me too long to give it here. Okay. But a lot of the times the solution is to go back and say, well, let's just take the first bar, and let's look at what kind of techniques are in there, and you know, we've got to master that before we move on. And but my philosophy is I don't like struggle. I don't like failure. I like success, and I like to have a good time. And so it's my job as a teacher to steer the student in a where they're always succeeding, where, you know, I can find something that's, you know, still a challenge, but they're going to get it that day or that week, and it's not like some distant goal that's unrealistic. You know, I look at how they play, I see what they've got, and I give them that next step. So, you know, you know, later that day they could be playing something successfully, and then you know, have the next thing connect to that. It's all, you know, about connection, and I could never teach like this without seeing them play. That's the most important thing.
I was going to ask, how easy is it to spot small problems with technique over video when you're not actually in the room with them?
Well, the video is great because I can really see details. Yeah. And I've become very familiar from having taught not just at ArtistWorks. I started teaching at Musicians Institute in LA when I was 18. So it's been, you know, I'm a lot older than that now. And it's funny, I could almost turn down the sound, and just by watching, even before they play, I can watch certain things about their hand position, both left and right, that will let me know what they're going to struggle with, what's going to work for them, what they're going to sound like. And it all just has to do, it's something that every guitar player has to deal with. If you're a rock player, it is focused on rock, which to me is very different than how a classical player's hand position might be. It's a different sound, it's a different instrument, it requires a different technique, and I know what that is.
It's such a broad genre as well, you know, with a lot of techniques to learn.
Oh, so it's true. I mean, we're doing blues, we're doing metal, we're doing, you know, we're doing shuffly things, we're doing, you know, hard drive and headbanging stuff. There's pop music, there's soul and R&B. It really does cover classical influence stuff.
Is there a common gripe in terms of what people are struggling with? Is there one thing that crops up again and again?
I can't think of one initially because it really is individuals.
Right.
And there's people that have been playing 6 months, and there's been people that have been playing 20 years. I would say, because it's me, you know, I'm a guitar player that I have a reputation. I've made albums. Yeah. You know, so a lot of the students aren't just coming because they want to learn rock. They're coming because they want to learn Scarified. You know, they want to learn one of my songs. So, you know, I will see some of that. People want to learn my stuff, and of course, you know, I feel fairly qualified to show it to them.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's people from all over the world. People that really are into different things. You know, some people have no interest in that at all. They want to learn Red Hot Chili Peppers. And, you know, a couple of days ago, I was showing a guy had Red Hot Chili Peppers lick, and or they want to learn, you know, a Beatles tune, or they want to learn, you know, Led Zeppelin. And I love all that stuff. So it's great.
If you could have done this when you were learning to play guitar with any one guitarist who influenced you, who do you think you would have had video lessons with back in the day?
Oh man. I mean, you know, I was an Eddie Van Halen fan. So, you know, when the first Van Halen album came out when I was 11 years old, so it was, you know, just the prime time as I just started. You know, I've been playing guitar a couple of years. That album came out, so that was, you know, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But the thing with this too is with not just me, but I think all the ArtistWorks teachers, it's one thing to be a great performer or a great artist. It's a whole different mindset to be able to communicate it as a teacher. And I'll never forget when I first started teaching at GIT. I was 18 years old, and I had practiced a lot. I had, you know, I could perform pretty well. Sure. But I was fresh as a teacher. I didn't have a lot of experience, and I started teaching this single string scale class. And I remember I thought I was doing great. You know, I'd go in there and I'd be like, "All right, everybody, you know, let's play these scales." I'd rip through them, and after a couple of weeks, the administrators or the administrative staff called me in for a meeting, and they said, "Paul, we've been having a lot of complaints." And I was completely shocked. You know, I thought I was a hero. I thought I was, you know, doing the best scale, and maybe I was as a performer, but I wasn't teaching. Right. And that really taught me a lot. The other thing that taught me a lot as a teacher was studying Japanese.
Really?
Because studying Japanese was the first time in my life when I tried to do something that I was not good at.
Yeah.
and I didn't quit.
Right.
And most things and there's a lot of things I'm not good at, but usually I just like go, well, I'm not good at that, so I'm not going to do it. Japanese, I thought, I'm not really that good at this, but I'm going to keep trying. And I got to feel what it felt like to struggle. I mean, guitar is something I've worked at a lot, but it came kind of naturally. I had a pretty good ear. You know, after the teacher showed me a couple things, I could play. But learning Japanese, that was rough. And I kept at it, and I had a lot of different teachers, and I began to notice how I liked as a student to be taught, and I've brought that to my guitar playing because you know people struggle,
yeah, sure.
and I want to help them, and I don't want them to quit because it's hard, and I want to find a way so it doesn't feel like it's hard, so they can feel the progress. You know, they feel like they're on a road with no traffic, and they can just drive and get to where they want to go.
I think that's a common thing, people trying to, this has definitely happened to me, you know, in my time playing guitar, trying to learn something that is obviously too hard to begin with. And then, you know, feeling kind of like defeated, and feeling a bit like, you know, oh, there's no point learning this, I'm going to scrap that idea and move on to something else. And then I guess perhaps you never progress, so...
Well, I think everybody has a certain amount of pride.
Yeah.
And you want to show the world, like, look, I can do this awesome thing. Whether it's with guitar or in my case, you know, the first thing I want to do with Japanese is like I want to learn a really complicated sentence, just blow people away. And I think what I am able to communicate as a teacher is how enjoyable and how awesome it is to play something simple with a lot of power and conviction and
yeah.
heart. And so when I do these videos for people, you know, sometimes I'll show them like, you know, just something basic with an E chord. But I'm genuinely having such a good time playing it,
yeah.
And that's the only way that I can get it across. I can talk all day, but if I can communicate, like, look, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, this really sounds great, and if I'm able to do that, then they're like, well, that is pretty cool, you know, and then they get their fingers into it, and you know, 6 months from then they're at the point where, well, now that I've got this, I can start adding this on and. It really works that way, but the whole it all depends on just me selling it because I believe it.
I think that's cool. Like, you know, a lot of the time, guys pick up guitars and you know your fingers always go and try and do the same thing. You know, you have a certain muscle memory, but I guess, like you say, if you're playing that with pride and passion, then that kind of, you know, it doesn't matter that you're playing the same things you always play or things that you're comfortable with because you're playing them with passion. And surely that's what music is about to a certain extent. Well,
the comfort zone can turn into a prison.
Yeah.
You know, where and I think so many guitar players, including myself, have that time in your musical life when you feel like you're in a rut.
Break out of the prison.
And it's like, man, I'm always playing the same thing, and you know, sometimes you think like, oh, if I learn some music theory, I can get out of it. But it's that's one thing at this school that I think is amazing. Not just me, but with, you know, people have the ability to see, of course, every lesson I do, but also all the other students.
Yeah.
So there's people from so many styles and genres and ages and cultures playing guitar, and it's just really inspiring. And I think no one is ever in a rut at the ArtistWorks Online School. It's not an issue at all. You know, there's always
that's a good tagline, I think. Yeah. No one's in a rut here.
That's the last thing you got to worry about. If anything, it's like, man, I wish I had 48 hours in a day so I could work on all this cool stuff.
Yeah. So as we're at NAMM, which I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video if I didn't, have you seen anything here that you think you might add to your rig or that has kind of really blown you away? Have you had much time to look around the show?
Oh, well, I usually... My goal at NAMM is it's a mission of gratitude.
Right.
Because I'm so fortunate to work with such great musical instrument companies. So I go to Ibanez and I just see all the Ibanez people and say, thank you for another amazing year of guitar. And I go to Marshall Amps and say, you know, thank you for another, you know, helping me out when I was on tour, you know, got amps, you know, wherever I was. And you know, I'll go to the pedal companies and the string companies, and DiMarzio and Ernie Ball, and you know, it's mostly just, you know, being thankful for these great musical instrument companies.
Some nice sentiment.
It's nice of them to help me.
You went to Marshall a couple of days ago, is that right?
I was there today too.
Okay, cool. did you see they've got like 4 new amps out? Did you go in that room in the in their
awesome,
booth? Yeah. We heard them earlier, and we the cameraman who is behind the lens right now, Rob. We were chatting, and we think it's the best kind of collection of Marshalls we've heard in a very long time. So yeah, you got to hear them in action then, I take it.
Well, I didn't have time.
Oh, did you not?
I basically just saw the people that I'll eventually be sending an email to and say, how about that new one? Could I try that out?
Yeah, you should. They're really cool, actually. Well, Paul, thanks for chatting to us. I understand your time is limited, and there's probably lots of people dying to see you. So thanks for chatting to us, and
thank you very much for having me here.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, rock and roll.